So again, beginning to bring our awareness into the body. Starting at the crown of the head, spending a moment just resting on the crown, the energy at the crown of the head. And again, using breath and awareness to start to stream down the body, massaging, letting go, creating space. As we move into any tightness in the body, creating space with breath and awareness, space and relaxation, especially around the eyes, around the jaw. Moving through the neck, so imagining our breath is a little bit like the fluidity of water, so having that kind of quality of water just flushing away any stress, tension, emotional obstacle as we move down the body with breath and awareness. Finding a little bit more depth in the breathing down through the stomach as our mind starts to settle down. Breathing through the front of the body, relaxing the stomach area, going through the skin, through the muscles, through the tissue in the stomach, and allowing the stomach just to soften and release. Massaging and flushing away with breath and awareness any tension around the shoulders, down through the back and the spine. And at the same time, finding that strength and stability in the spine that supports our meditation. And then just breathing a few breaths around the hips. Seeing if we can relax, find space around the hips. And then all the way down through the legs, through the toes. Connecting with our body. Our mind, our consciousness is connecting with our body. The vessel in which we hold the mind, where the mind is in the body. To be present in our mind, we need to be present in our body. And again, to create a bit more clarity with the mind before we begin the stabilisation meditation, being with the breath, being with an object, let's just do the 9-round breathing exercise, cleansing the right and left channels and the central channel with the subtle body, starting with closing off with the first finger of the left hand, the right nostril, slow deep inhalation through the left nostril, and then exhaling through the right nostril. So we close off the right nostril, inhale through the left, exhale through the right 3 times, cleansing the right channel of the body. Then first finger of the right hand closing off the left nostril, inhaling through the right, all the way down to the bottom of the stomach, long, slow, quiet inhalation, and exhaling through the left, cleansing the left channel of the body 3 times. And then cleansing the central channel, breathing through both nostrils, exhaling through both nostrils 3 times. Taking a moment to be with that spacious or clear quality of our own consciousness that we feel after that exercise, just resting in that. So for the next 7 minutes, we're either going to stay with that object, the spacious or clear nature of consciousness, like the sky. If we can find that object, it rests between thoughts. It's the nature of our consciousness. Or we can use the object to stabilise the mind of the breath, breathing at the level of the nostrils or the abdomen. So we rest our awareness on there, trying to find like 20% of our awareness is not on the breath, but it's watching ourselves, watch the breath like a spy. So 80% of our awareness is on the breath, with the breath. 20% of our awareness is like the spy, watching ourselves, so that we don't wander for the breath. So see if we can split the consciousness in that way, and at the same time rest and be with the process of the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Possibly using the counting technique, 1, each in and in breath is 1, counting up to 10, as a tool to help focus on the breath. We're not trying to stop thoughts here, we're simply trying to be with the breath. As we be with the breath, or the spacious quality of consciousness, um, thoughts naturally start to subside over time. So we allow thoughts to continue, but we're not following them. We're placing the main part of your awareness on the breathing. So let's do this for 7 minutes. So taking a moment just to rest our awareness from the breathing or the nature and mind, consciousness. Instead of feeling maybe upset, a little bit frustrated because it's difficult to keep our awareness on the breath, it's more helpful to have a mind inquiry, to just be amazed at how difficult it is to do that simple exercise for that small period of time. 7 minutes in our life is like, a snap of a finger. Usually in our daily life, it's like we don't even notice it. But somehow, when we want to sit and meditate, keep the mind on one object, it feels totally different that period of time. When we're abiding in more grosser levels of consciousness, usually in our daily life, when we're caught up in the sense objects, then we have a different sense of time. Time seems to go very quickly. But when we sit and meditate, connecting with more subtle levels of consciousness, the sense of time, it was quite different. Recognizing how time is really just a concept. A concept that we share in this universe. It's like a group karma. We all share this kind of same feeling of time in the grosser levels and then in more subtle levels where it changes. It's also interesting to see when we do this type of meditation how much the I, the ego, needs to be entertained. In order to sustain itself, the ego needs entertainment through the senses, through the mental consciousness, through thoughts, through emotions, feeling, and also through the sense objects. That's how it sustains itself, through that type of entertainment, through continually engaging in this more grosser level. So it's interesting to look at that as well. See that within ourselves when we're trying to do this meditation, how the ego wants to move away from just one object where it feels threatened and wants to keep identifying with many objects where it feels comfortable. There's a strong sense of existence in that place. So again, just let's drop into another few minutes of being with the breath or being with the space-like nature of consciousness, like the sky, imagining to help that meditation, if you want to use that object, the sky, or sitting under the sky and being kind of absorbed and embraced by the sky, our whole being, and just resting in that space. Focusing, being aware, ourselves being like that space. Or simply again being with the breathing at the nostrils of the abdomen for a few minutes. again, just settling, resting a little bit from the object. Something else that comes up when you do this meditation over time is a sense of boredom. The ego gets bored because again it's not being entertained through the normal sense objects, sense consciousnesses. So again, it can be interesting just to see that. The different colours of the ego: boredom, laziness, inertia. Kind of lethargy that can come up regarding meditation. You want to meditate, you want to do spiritual practice. This comes because in some ways the ego is not entertained, again, we're not engaging in it so much when we do listen to spiritual teachings, engage in meditation. So it loses its strength. Another place where the ego feels strong is when we have the presence of anger in our mind. As we've been investigating, with the teachings with Geshe on a Sunday, investigating this mind of anger as opposed to the more virtuous, positive mind of patience. How anger kind of colours our mind, confuses our mind, and how the quality of patience can bring about more peace. So how we can move from disturbance to peace. Investigating through the various verses with Shantideva, how we can move from a disturbed mind that is grounded in ego to a patient, spacious mind that's grounded in patience. So what we have to do with these verses is reflect on them and see how the ego is mistaken. These verses are like a mirror that helps us to see how the ego is it's not really bad, but it's mistaken. So one verse we discussed last week was the verse here: since disrespect, harsh speech, unpleasant words do not cause any harm to my body. They're non-physical phenomena. Disrespect, harsh speech, unpleasant words, they don't cause any harm to my body. So why, mind, do you become so angry? So when someone harms our body, we could say it's a little bit more difficult because it's a physical phenomena, physical form, so there's a sense of pain, physical pain. But when someone says unpleasant words to us, speaks badly about us, criticises us, there's no harm to the body. So it's interesting. Why do we get upset? Our mind is a non-physical phenomenon, it's formless. So similarly, words, speech are formless. So why do we grasp at them as having some sort of concrete existence? We could say words have an energy, but even the energy doesn't have any form. It's not harming our body, it's not harming our mind. It's because we don't perceive the real way that things exist, that the words exist more like an echo, having a very impermanent, kind of elusive, illusory nature. but somehow we hold on to the words, give them a concrete reality that then upsets the mind. We over-concretize the nature of those words and also the nature itself, and create disturbance, anger, upsetness in the mind. If we perceived words more like an echo, no, when we hear an echo, we don't identify it as me or mine, something belonging to us. So why are words not any different? They come and go. As Geshe-la says last week, sometimes when we hear, it's like when we hear people say good things about us, we hear it, but we're not overly grasping at that. But even if we start to hear the slightest thing, maybe it's people talking about us, our ears all of a sudden become very attentive. We want to hear what they're saying, in case it's going to damage our feeling, our reputation with our others, with ourselves. And we hold on to that tightly, instead of seeing the reality of the words being existing more like an echo. So in order to help us to clarify really how things exist, to not go into the habitual tendency, grasping and clinging at words as having some sort of concrete nature, unpleasant words, disrespectful words. We need to develop a kindness for ourselves, a compassion, as well as the eye of wisdom, that's really able to discern the nature and reality of words, of sound. For beings who have developed equanimity in their mind, either pleasant speech or kind speech, or harsh speech, critical speech, has the same effect on their mind. Whether someone says something positive or negative, their mind is undisturbed. It remains in a state of peace, because they've developed the eyes of wisdom, recognizing sound to be more like an echo. So when we meditate and having compassion for ourselves, we also need to develop these eyes of wisdom. So the Buddha compassion, this one with 1,000 arms, in the palm of each of his hand is an eye. So he has 1,000 arms to help, but 1,000 eyes to discern, to develop wisdom, the eyes of wisdom. So many different types of wisdom we need to cut through our wrong concepts about how we perceive things to exist. So imagine this Buddha, as we see in the tanka on the wall, appearing in the space before you, like the image of a full moon, but a Buddha with many heads, many arms, the heads, all the eyes on the heads, the arms with the face, with the eye in the palm of the hand, just focusing on all these eyes, all these different levels of wisdom, of sight, to see through the layers of confused phenomena. confused states of mind. And what emanates for these eyes is a light, like the light of the moon, that again dispels darkness. And it comes towards us, flushes down through our nervous system, through this light, through the crown, through the central channel, all the different channels of the body, flushing out these kind of cloudy, confused states of mind that cause us to grasp and cling, our wrong sense of self, grasp and cling at sounds, but instead of seeing the reality, we give them a concrete type of existence. What creates anger, fears, resentment in the mind. So cleansing that wrong view, cleansing any resentments that we've built up, because anger, negative states of mind, due to grasping at, past events in our lives in the wrong way, creating a history in negative emotion. So cleaning that out as we chant the mantra compassion together. Mani Padme Hum, Om 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 Mani Padme Hum. then the image of compassion, the Buddha, dissolves into a small ball of radiant white light. Coming to the crown of our head, dissolves through our crown, through our central channel, down through into our heart. And like the moon, that light pervading our whole being. Again, bringing light where there's darkness, wisdom where there's confusion. And we rest for a moment in being one with that place. One, our heart, our mind, being one with this essence of compassion, essence of light, clarity. Through developing our wisdom, the eyes of wisdom, the light of compassion within ourselves, may I in all beings be able to develop the peace of patience, overcome the disturbance of anger that happens through grasping at objects, at sounds, in a wrong way. Each be able to recognize the reality how ego exists, and how all phenomena exist in this empty, peaceful way.